This mission is called Kuhnheit. I think that's how you pronounce it at least. In this mission we have a company of Gebirjäger, Alpine infantry, German Alpine infantry, attempting to secure several compounds surrounding a strategically important bridge leading to the Syrian city of Hama. So starting off, we have the lead platoon for the company. I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce it, but it's Hotgeberger or something like that. And in front of the landing zone, we have these built-up urban areas, given a pretty good amount of preparatory intelligence. You see here that the area leading up to the objective buildings, these three buildings with the green squares, it's intersected by farmland, the riverbed itself, and there's very little options for maneuvering other than just going directly down over the bridge. Sort of a perfect kill zone. That is for the enemy upon me. And just looking at the objective compounds here, they're basically fortified barrack-style buildings, surrounded by walls, and they have trenches on the interior. First stage of this operation is going to be immediate saturation fires onto enemy OPs that are overlooking the area of operations. I'm going to use the Panzer 2000 to do that. I'm also going to attempt to interdict the wider area using the AH-64s. Initial fires are going to be done by Hellfire missiles, and follow-up cast requests will be done through just
Stand by for
cannon.
cast request. Roger, a route to attack position.
My hope is that I'll catch the enemy in the open, sort of, just moving into positions that they're going to
Stand by
scope
for
point.
cast request. Roger,
I want
a
to kill
route
as many
attack
of them as
position.
possible while they're out in the open, because I feel as if, judging from this terrain, I'd probably take pretty high casualties if I just had to assault through these building compounds.
Feueranforderungen kommen! Feueranforderungen empfangen, Ende!
Phase 2 of the operation is going to consist of occupying OPs overlooking the area of operations. We see here on the right flank there's a 3-story brown ranch. I'm going to be occupying that as an OP. But the primary effort, the main effort, is going to be occupying these apartment buildings directly south of the landing zone. And I'm going to accomplish that by just quickly moving the lead platoon there. Within 5 minutes, I'm going to have a smoke screen come down.
Feueranforderungen
And then
empfangen. Ende.
hopefully those two OP locations will enable the entire company to secure the highway and the bridge. I'm also going to drop a laser-guided bomb on barracks and the objectives.
Roger, a route to IP.
Again, my hope here is that I'll knock out a squad, maybe more, while they're mobilizing. And as we can see here, I'm actually one section down. And the reason, well, not entirely, I still have one man of the 3rd section, but that's it. And the reason for that is that this lead platoon was the one that attacked the airfield in the previous walkthrough. and one of the sections was basically decimated by RPG-29 fire. And we see here, here's another section, this 2 section. They also, everyone in their squad is wounded. And first section is fully operational. They have no casualties and no wounds. So as soon as the mission starts, I'm just going to rush to an initial battle position and an initial OP. I'm going to occupy it, just using the violence of maneuver. Then I'm going to have... I also have a squad of snipers. I'm going to have half of the squad overwatch the road and the 3-story ranch OP on the right flank to the southeast. The other half of the squad is going to sneak up on the OP and try to slip in and occupy it. It's also worth noting that at the same time I was making this video, a new patch came out for the game,
30 seconds out.
and it addressed one of the biggest bugs that is in this current version that I'm playing now. That is that certain NATO units don't have radios. So, for instance, the only element that has radios in this platoon is the command element. So, accordingly, the only way that I can establish and keep command and control is to maintain visual contact. Otherwise, command and control breaks down. So I'm actually playing with quite a significant disadvantage right now. The next few missions that I'm going to be recording, the rest of the campaign and many other missions, they're going to be played with the patch. So it won't be an issue. And the patch actually retroactively updates all the save games, so you know, it will affect the future games. And I'll have all the angles will have radios. You see here, these guys, sniper squad I just looked at, they have binoculars and MPGs, but they don't have radios. And what is the danger of going out of command range? Well, the danger is that they don't share contact reports. So, let's say that there's a contact in the open. You know, whatever squad sees the contact uses the radio just like they would in real life. And they tell everyone else, contact, you know, bearing 158, whatever, rate 200 meters. They're letting everyone know that the contact's there, and then it shares the contact information across the entire formation. And that's a major advantage of Group 4. That they have, you know, GPS and radios, you know. So, the Syrians really don't have those things. The only Syrian formations that have, you know, universal radios and GPS are the paratroopers and the special forces. But they're only constitute 10% of the enemy force.
Roger.
So while I was talking, the preparatory fires basically destroyed, effectively, the targets that I had engaging. There's still Hellfire missiles flying in and crashing into buildings. I guess I should make a note that the vast number of buildings in this mission I am restricted from engaging.
Ready to engage.
So, you know, this civilian area directly to the south of the assembly area, you know, all those buildings I can't fire into. I mean, not with anything heavier than small arms. So, but unfortunately I have to secure those flats because they overwatch the entire objective, and it said in the briefing that there is going to be Mujahideen on this side of the river, and or correction, Fedayeen. There's going to be Fedayeen on this side of the river, so the only place that they can be, is in those flats. And also, I mean, there are a few buildings on the southeast side of the road, but not many. And also, it wouldn't be a big deal to suppress those.
At attack position. Request
And,
target. Ready to
and they're
engage.
not off limits, so that's not really a big issue. But I am worried about these flats directly in front. So what we've done now is we've established our initial battle position,
At attack position.
and now I'm just waiting for the smoke screen to come down. In the initial setup phase, I said 5 minutes after mission start. So right now I have the platoon just
Ready to engage.
staging, and as soon as those smoke rounds start landing, I'm just gonna sprint towards the next set of apartments in front of them.
Egressing from target.
Meanwhile, the forward observer and the command section will provide overwatch.
Great.
I was actually surprised that I wasn't immediately engaged.
Stand by for cast
apartment flats, civilian areas, whatever.
Roger, route to attack position.
So now we're switching the Apaches to just do some general area
route to
interdiction
attack position.
using their cannons. I'm also, right now, I'm trying to sight in some buildings on the side of the road. I want to destroy them because they were reported to have contacts in them, enemy contacts, prior to the start of the mission. So I'd like to kill as many enemy as possible before they really dig in.
Feueranforderungen kommen!
So what I'm doing now is I'm gonna pop smoke. And that will protect my forces from any fires from the southeast across the fields. It won't protect them from the buildings in front of the. It won't protect them from the buildings in front of them, but it will protect them from any enfilade fires from the southeast.
Feueranforderung empfangen. Ende.
Smoke screen.
Abgefeuert, kommen!
Abgefeuert. Ende.
Feueranforderungen empfangen, Ende.
Time to move. Get out of the open and get into cover. And, one main issue that applies to this mission and all light infantry operations is that they only have what they carry. And that might seem like a truism, but it's really not. It's actually an important point. It means that since these guys don't have any vehicles to carry, their kit around, they only are carrying what ammo they have on them. So once they're out of ammo, that's it. They're basically combat ineffective, which is why you need to reinforce airborne, or air assault troops, before they get into heavy contact with the enemy. And that, that is actually represented quite well in this game. Because
At attack position. Roger. Clear.
These guys, for instance, I only have like 400 rounds of 7.62 ammo. So I can only fire my MG3 for, I would say, about a minute before it's out of ammo.
Ready to engage.
So every shot I fire has to be mathematically calculated. You know, can I afford to fire these rounds off? So here we see on the right flank, I'm sneaking up this team of snipers. I want to occupy the 3-story brown building in the center. I don't intend to make that like a base of fire or anything like that, but I just want it for observation. This way I can observe buildings on the right side of the road, and I can observe down the road. I'm quite concerned about getting eyes down the road, because I don't want some heavy machine gun to kill the entire platoon when they try to cross the river.
Roger. Near contact. Resting on target.
So, the platoon here on the left has successfully occupied the second apartment complex from the initial assembly area. At this point, I'm basically in position. I'm just gonna, you know, maximize their field of fire, scoot them around a little bit. But other than that, they're pretty much good to go. These guys are just going to wait in place for the rest of the company to get here, and they're going to provide overwatch while the rest of the company prosecutes the attack on the river.
Egressing from target.
One thing that I'm not very excited about here is that there are ledges or balconies on the side facing the enemy, and it's sort of an inside joke amongst the Battlefront community, the Shock Force community, that balconies equals death. And the main reason for that is that this game doesn't use, you know, percentages to hit or anything like that. It uses actual ballistics to determine if your soldiers get hit. So if the round doesn't hit your soldiers, it doesn't actually injure them. The point is that when they're on balconies, they're exposed, and in reality, the soldiers wouldn't go onto the balconies. They'd stand behind the windows and fire from there. You know, significantly behind the windows. Like I would say, about 1 meter to 2 meters behind the windows. In this game, when you put units on the balconies, and there's no way to tell them to stay in the building, they'll always shift to the balconies. They take a lot of casualties, and as we're about to see, that's going to happen. And there's nothing I can really do about it, other than just not use that building, you know, or redeploy my forces. And a lot of the newer missions in the new modules, they don't contain balconies, or they contain sort of faux balconies. Like, they look like balconies, but they're not passable. It's actually a little surprising to see, you know, full-size, accessible balconies in the Nato missions, because it's sort of well known among good mission makers that you don't want to use balconies because they cause unnecessarily unrealistic casualties. So right here we have contact with a enemy headquarters. They're Fedayeen, irregular fighters. I'm actually glad that this is a good opportunity that I've actually made contact with the headquarters, because now I can kill their leadership. And the headquarters revealed itself in response to me trying to shift one of my sections to the southwestern approach. I wanted to get Overwatch there. I'm going to split my teams here so that they're not all bunched up on one floor, but I don't want an RPG shot to kill half of the section. Meanwhile, a platoon has arrived, plus the company forward observer and company command squad. So I'm not really in a position yet to begin assaulting the river, because I don't have the central OP setup that I wanted to set up. So I'm going to have the sniper squad over there, slowly hunt. I'm going to use the hunt command. I'm going to have them slowly move towards the OP and slip in. I don't want it to be like this violent thing where I'm assaulting it, because they literally have no support, and they would probably take heavy casualties if there's anyone in that building. So if they do get into contact, I want them to immediately just hit the dirt, return fire, and then I'll support them by fire from the rest of the platoon. Or with indirect fires.
Kommen. Abgefeuert. Ende. Achtung, Aufschlag. Kommen.
Aufschlag, Ende.
So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to call in the Apaches on the contacts on the left. Now I must be really careful here. I can't call in Hellfires or rockets because I'm not allowed to damage those buildings. They're civilian buildings. There's civilians living in them. I can't engage them with heavy weapons. What I am going to do, though, is I am going to interdict those forces with cannon fire. Cannon fire is much more accurate and doesn't cause that much collateral damage. The platoon that just dropped, I'm going to use them to assault the civilian apartments on the left. There's a little bit of a ridge, a little bit of a defilade leading up to it, so that's going to be the staging area and my axis of approach. And I'm then just going to assault it. I want to just keep moving.
Roger, cleared hull.
Meanwhile, I'm keeping that command section suppressed.
Ingress the target.
So the first platoon landed with a heavy machine gun version of the MG3. It's got a full-size bipod, a tripod I should say.
Feuerauftrag beendet. Ende target.
Auftrag beendet, Ende.
A lot of this game, a lot of the skill that's involved in this game, and I guess in modern warfare in general, tactical combat is, trying to find where the enemy's OPs are and then destroying them, which is what you see in the background here. All these artillery shells landing are my attempts at finding. I'm trying to put my head into the enemy's perspective, and I'm trying to think, where would the enemy put himself to kill me? Where would I put, if I was the enemy, where would I put my forces to kill me? So that's what I'm doing. Okay, so I'm going to be bounding forward the command elements of the lead platoon, and their positions are going to be occupied by the company commander. Normally, this would be a great design for command and control if everyone had radios, because they're mostly in visual contact, and, you'd have very strong C2 in an environment like this. So I've successfully set up the OP in the center, and luckily these two teams have effective command and control, because they're in visual contact with the headquarters across the fields. Ooh. taking sniper fire from the apartment buildings. Incapacitated one of my soldiers. Immediately suppressed all the buildings. And as that's happening, the Apache is cleared hot, comes in, and hopefully kills a sniper.
At attack position, egress department.
Now, I have to be careful here. The reason why I wasn't suppressing those apartments the entire time, since that headquarters fired upon me, is that, this is like what I was saying before, I don't have the ammunition to do so. So I have to really ration everything that I'm doing. The only thing I do have in abundance is fire support, but unfortunately I can't use it because I'm restricted with the ROE. I don't know, if I was a Syrian citizen and I saw some dude in black robes and an RPG running down the hallway and breaking into my neighbor's room, I would probably leave. Maybe that's just me, though.
Stand by for cash arrest. Roger. Attack position.
Also, in the next patch, in the new patch rather,
Roger.
they fixed the night flashing bug, so if you notice, every time my troopers fire, it lights up every single building on the map. And obviously, that's not how it's supposed to work. It's supposed to only light up, you know, the buildings that are within range of the muzzle flash. So after these two Apaches do their thing and suppress those contacts, I'm going to begin my assault.
Stand by for gas request.
What I'm in danger of right now is since my soldiers are just, you know, waiting here at this battle position, I'm in danger of them, you know, zeroing in with artillery and causing casualties and, you know, forcing my hand into a premature attack. But, you know, they are Fedayeen. They probably have very little artillery support. And if they do have artillery support, it's probably going to be inaccurate and very slow. So, an issue. It's becoming lighter out, you know, brighter out. So this assault on the objective here on the left is going to consist of a smoke screen followed by a charge across the fields and assaulting the buildings to achieve an initial base of fire, and then bounding further elements forward to cordon and assault. Now what we have here is we have Fedayeen running out in the open to attack us. And they're just immediately schwacked by these overwatching squads. I don't know what they're doing. I don't know if they're trying to maneuver towards the better overwatch position or what, but they just get massacred.
At attack position, egress the target.
RPG team is spotted. RPG 29 team. The insta-death is spotted. Must kill. Must kill RPG 29 team.
Attack position. Ready? Engage. Clear.
suppress that team.
Roger.
Of course, they fire an RPG which kills that intersection. I probably could have avoided that if I would have split that section into two different teams, like I did with the section on the left, or if I would have listened to my gut and not put them in a building with balconies. Because what that was a balcony kill right there. It's a typical balcony kill. RPG, hit the balcony and kill everyone behind the balcony. Kill most people behind the balcony. But again, there's not much I can do about that. That's sort of like acceptable casualties. Because I don't have the means to really suppress these buildings, like blow the shit out of them. I'm restricted from doing that. Just waiting now for that smoke to drop. Once the smoke drops, I'm going to begin my assault. Meanwhile, it's pretty quiet in the center, which is a little unnerving or unexpected. And of course, the first building that I'm going to assault is that building with the RPG-29, because I want to kill that damn thing before it wreaks more havoc. I'm going to have all those overwatching squads suppress the hell out of that building, and then I'm going to go for it. Decided at the last second that I was going to use banding Overwatch to attack the building rather than just run in there like a madman. And we can saw there briefly that the ammo levels on the lead platoon that originally dropped in is dangerously low, or getting dangerously low. Now, what just arrived is 2nd Platoon, and also most of the company heavy weapons, including a platoon of weasels. I'm going to rush those weasels forward to provide direct fire support. I'm also going to move forward the sniper platoon. I guess it's like a sniper squad. The sniper squad that jumped with the company. And I'm going to also move those forward observers forward. I'm going to move them to the OP in the center. So, the lead squad in the assault has reached the first building, and just as they occupied that building, the RPG-29 team ran out of the back. Like bastards. You know, it's sort of like when you're trying to look for a spider and it sort of disappears. You're unnerved and you feel as if there's a spider everywhere, and that's the way I feel now with that RPG-29. It's a bad omen when RPG-29 just sort of vanishes. So I'm gonna, you know, the Overwatch isn't complete, but I'm still trying to rush after that RPG-29 team and kill it before they get away, because I don't want to lose another 4 men to a deadly RPG-29 shot. I can't do much with these weasels because I'm not allowed to destroy these buildings, so I can't really just shoot, you know, indiscriminately into the buildings like I would in a typical assault. But so far it's gone well. I haven't had any contact inside the buildings. Found a lot of dead bodies. I'm going to move forward second platoon here. So first platoon is going to achieve a foothold on the compounds, and then second platoon is going to exploit that foothold and capture the rest of the compounds. The lead platoon is going to just continue to provide general overwatch. So these guys are pretty exhausted. These guys that are entering the buildings are exhausted. They just ran across the fields. And, yeah. See here on the rooftop the 3 dead bodies of that Fedayeen command group. That's always good to see an HQ dead. The irregulars are very prone to breaking and retreating, or even routing, when their commanders die. What I'm doing here is I'm just going to do some area. These are games are close cash requests. I'm just trying to kill any of the troops that, you know, were escaping. Or escaping southward.
Roger, en route to attack position.
That when I assaulted the compound, there was, you know, that RPG-29 team ran, and also there was movement right before the assault, so it's possible that there could be groups in the open that have retreated southward. So what we're going to do here now is we're going to have 2 sections at once in Overwatch. Then we're going to have another section that's maneuvering using squad Overwatch, or squad bounding Overwatch within the buildings to just assault through and establish security. Moving forward, the platoon leader of first platoon. It's pretty safe to cross the field because it wasn't fired upon when I originally crossed, and there's also weasels in Overwatch now, so any contact that shows itself is just going to be immediately suppressed. I'm also going to take the company sniper squad and put them into Overwatch. I was actually not very impressed with the spotting abilities of these snipers. I don't think they spotted a single contact the entire game, which is, you know, the exact opposite of why you would need snipers. Also, what dropped at the company was 3 Milan teams. Those are anti-tank guided missiles. Those will be useful for the assault on the main objective area across the river. I use them as sort of like a javelin equivalent to just, you know, knock out heavily fortified buildings. Because all those buildings, well, most of the buildings south of the river are pretty much fair game for blowing up, so I'm going to just put the Milans in Overwatch with the snipers, and then I'm going to use them for direct fire support when the time comes.
At attack position, ingress to target. Ready to engage. Roger, cleared hot. At attack position, ingress to target. At attack position, ingress to target. Ready to engage. Roger, cleared hot. Roger.
See, we can see
Clear
here, you
hot.
see that red circle where it says first zoom? That's because that means that that section that I just took on before, and this one too, they are not in contact with their platoon leader.
Aggressing on target.
So even though that the platoon leader is right across, they're still not in contact with the platoon leader because they don't have radios, and the walls of the building are blocking their view.
Ready to engage.
So I can really show you the importance of radios in an urban environment. You have to be able to tell people, you know, this is what's here, and you need to be able to share contact information. I tried to with the platoon leader up on a rooftop so he could see the other sections. And now what happens here is there's an SBG, SBG-9, it's not self-propelled, it's a recoilless gun fired on the section. So I'm just going to immediately suppress that rooftop with anti-personnel fire. And here I'm trying to spot the SPG with the sniper squad, and they're unable to see the contact, even though they have a clear line of sight on the building. It's very confusing why they can't see someone who just fired a high explosive round and is now reloading and firing again. So I'm going to use the weasels that are in Overwatch to suppress that contact. Suppress it with the weasels and then destroy it with the artillery, with the mortars. Find them, fix them, kill them. Not even the sniper squad in the center spotted that SVG, even though that it was on an exposed rooftop. Contact with another command group in the apartments. Just quickly suppressed and destroyed. Also making contact with infantry across the open fields towards the center where the bridge is. I'm going to roll forward those weasels and try to get some direct fire support onto those buildings. We're also having some audio contact across the river, and that leads me to believe that there's probably a heavy machine gun there firing upon us. I'll deal with that in a moment. For now, the priority is explosive contacts.
Feuer an Vorderung und Flanke. Ende.
Stop the weasels before they deal any serious damage.
Ende.
Taking fire from another building across the clearing. Another command section. here, there's some AGS fire, so there's some automatic grenade launcher fire landing by one of the overwatching weasels. That's bad news. It's probably coming from that audio contact across the river. So I'm going to rush that weasel forward, out of line of sight. Again, nothing is spotted by the snipers. Infuriating. Now this audio contact is on top of a restricted building, so I'm unable to engage it with any heavy ordnance. I'm just going to use anti-personnel rounds, and I'm going to use them to basically sweep over the exposed rooftops and not, destroy the buildings themselves. I'm going to use my 120mm mortars. And then we spot the culprit. It's a Dishka heavy machine gun. This would be a good time for the lawns.
Verstanden, Wirkung schießen. Ende. Feueranforderungen empfangen. Ende.
SPG is getting blasted, or I should say splashed now by the mortars. Meanwhile, third platoon arrives. Third platoon is going to be my fresh platoon that I'm going to use to cross the river. First and second platoon are going to secure the area leading up to the river, provide overwatch, and provide security as third platoon crosses the river while third platoon assaults the main objective. So first platoon is starting to get spread out thin here. They're definitely going to need some assistance if they're going to go further and deeper in. A lot of those buildings haven't been secured yet. None of the buildings in the center have been secured yet. So what this mission is going to involve is basically I have to clear all the buildings leading up to the bridge, and then I need to cross the bridge and assault the objective. Now, if I had vehicles, I could cordon off this whole area and then just bypass this area. But since I don't have vehicles, since my entire force is foot mobile, other than some jeeps that are used to carry heavy weapons, I need to secure these buildings. Otherwise, I could take heavy casualties if I try to cross the bridge.
Verstanden, Wirkungsschießen. Ende.
Gonna move forward my overwatching elements. Meanwhile, third platoon has, I should say, second platoon is ready for tasking. I'm gonna have them exploit the breach that first platoon has made. do that safely. I can run them in the open safely because the mortars are landing on the heavy machine gun position right now, so it's no longer a threat. I'm also maneuvering one of the first platoon sections into Overwatch, so if that heavy machine gun does fire from the interior of the building, say, I'll be able to respond to it more effectively at closer range. Well, I pretty much covered everything, and I think I'm tired of hearing myself talk. They're probably tired of hearing me talk.
Stand by for
So
catch
just enjoy the rest of the video, and tune in next time for the new patch.
Stand by for catch
Another mission with these hardcore mountain badasses as they move into a major Syrian city and start doing some heavy street-to-street fighting. See you next time.
Feueranforderung kommen. Feueranforderung kommen. Feueranforderung kommen.
Feueranforderungen empfangen. Ende.
Abgefeuert. Ende. Aufschlag. Ende. Feueranforderung empfangen. Ende. Abgefeuert. Kommen.
Feueranforderungen empfangen. Gefeuert. Ende.
Feuerauftrag beendet. Ende. Abgefeuert. Kommen. Abgefeuert. Ende. An attack position, ingress to target.
Gefeuert. Ende.
Achtung, Aufschlag, kommen. Aufschlag, Ende. Ready to engage. Achtung, Aufschlag, kommen. Ende. Aufschlag, Aufschlag, Ende. Ingress to target. Verstanden. Wirkungsschießen. Ende. Roger. Cleared hot. An attack position. Ingress to target. An attack position. Ingress to target. Ready to engage. Ready to engage. Roger. Cleared hot. Roger. Cleared hot. Requesting target. Ready to engage. Ready to engage. Roger, clear hot. Roger, clear hot.
Feuerauftrag beendet. Ende. Feuerauftrag beendet.
Attack position.
Ende.
Requesting target. At attack position. Requesting target. Feueranforderung kommen. Ready to engage. Ready to engage. Roger, cleared hot. Roger, cleared hot. Regressing from target. Regressing from target.
Angefeuert. Kommen.
Abgefeuert. Ende.
Achtung, Aufschlag. Kommen. Aufschlag. Ende.
Abgefeuert. Kommen. Abgefeuert. Ende. Achtung, Aufschlag. Kommen. Aufschlag. Ende.
Wirkungsschießen. Kommen. Verstanden. Wirkungsschießen. Ende.
Feuerauftrag beendet. Ende.
Feueranforderungen kommen!
Feueranforderung kommen.
Feueranforderungen empfangen. Ende.
Feueranforderung empfangen. Ende.
Angefeuert. Kommen. Abgefeuert. Ende.
Abgefeuert. Kommen. Abgefeuert. Ende. Achtung, Aufschlag. Kommen.
Aufschlag. Ende.
Wirkungsschießen. Kommen. Achtung, Aufschlag. Kommen.
Aufschlag. Ende. Wirkungsschießen. Ende. Angefeuert. Kommen. Abgefeuert. Ende.
Achtung, Aufschlag. Kommen.
Ende. Wirkungsschießen. Kommen.
Verstanden. Wirkungsschießen. Ende.
Auftrag beendet. Ende.
Stand by for catch request. Stand by for catch request. Roger, en route to attack position. Ready to engage. Ready to engage. Roger. Clear target. Clear target.
Feuerausprobieren empfangen. Ende. Angefeuert. Kommen.
Abgefeuert. Ende. At attack position. Ingress the target. Ingress the target. Ready to engage. Ready to engage. Roger. Clear target. Clear. Achtung, Aufschlag. Kommen.
Aufschlag. Ende.
Wirkungsschießen. Kommen.
Verstanden. Wirkungsschießen. Ende.
At attack position. At attack position. Ingress the target. Ready to engage. Ready to engage. Roger. Cleared hunt. Roger. Cleared hunt.
Feuerauftrag beendet. Ende.
At attack position. At attack position. Ingress the target.
Feueraufforderung. Kommen.
Ready to engage. Ready to engage. Roger. Cleared hunt. Roger. Cleared hunt.
Feueraufforderung empfangen. Ende.
Aggressing on target. Aggressing on target. Abgefeuert. Kommen. Abgefeuert. Ende.
Achtung. Aufschlag. Ende. Angefeuert. Kommen.
Abgefeuert. Ende.
Achtung. Aufschlag. Kommen. Aufschlag. Ende. Wirkungsschießen. Kommen. Verstanden. Wirkungsschießen. Ende. Bild, Ende.
by for catch request. Stand by for catch request. Stand by for catch request. Stand by for catch request. Roger, en route to attack position. Roger, en route to I.
Feueranforderungen kommen!
Feueranforderung kommen.
Feueranforderungen empfangen, Ende. Abgefeuert, kommen!
Abgefeuert. Ende. Feueranforderung empfangen. Ende. Achtung, Aufschlag. Kommen.
Aufschlag, Ende. Abgefeuert, kommen!
Abgefeuert. Ende. Abgefeuert. Kommen.
Abgefeuert, Ende.
Inbound to attack. 30 seconds out.
Achtung, Aufschlag, kommen!
Aufschlag. Ende. Achtung, Aufschlag. Kommen. Aufschlag. Ende.
Schießen, kommen!
At attack position. Ingress to target. Verstanden. Inbound to attack. 30 abgefeuert. Kommen. Abgefeuert. Ende. Ready to engage. At attack position. Ingress to target. Roger. Cleared hot. Dash 2 is in the palm. Roger. Cleared hot. Position. Ready to engage. Roger.
Aufschlag, kommen!
Ready to engage. Aufschlag. Ende. Roger. One is in the palm. Roger. She's near. Feuerauftrag beendet. Expedition. Ingress to target.
Verstanden,
Ready to target.
Ende.
Ready to engage. Roger, cleared hot. At attack position, ingress to target. Progressing from target, all ordnance released. Ready to engage. Roger, cleared hot.
Auftrag beendet, Ende.
Egressing from target. about to attack. 30 seconds out. Dash 2 is in the palm. Roger, cleared hot. Requesting to target. All ordnance released.
Feueranforderungen kommen!
Stand by for catch request. Stand by for catch request. Stand by for catch request. Stand by for cast request. Roger, en route. Roger, en route. Roger, en route to attack position.
Feueranforderungen empfangen. Ende. Abgefeuert. Kommen.
Abgefeuert. Ende. At attack position, inbound to attack. 30 seconds out. Achtung, Aufschlag, kommen.
Ende.
Feueranforderung, kommen. Ready to engage.
Kommen.
Roger, cleared hot.
Verstanden. Wirkungsschießen. Ende.
Inbound to attack. 30 seconds out. Patch 2 is in the bomb. Roger, cleared hot. At attack position, ingress to target. At attack position, ingress to target. Ready to engage.
Feueraufrunde. Ende.
Ready to engage. Roger, cleared hot. Dash 1 is in the Roger, cleared hot. Roger, at attack position, ingress to target. At attack position, ingress to target. Ready to engage. Ready to engage. Roger, clear. Roger, cleared hot. Rushing from target. Full ordnance. At attack position, ingress to target. At attack position, ingress to target. Ready to engage. Roger, cleared hot. Roger, cleared hot.
Feueranforderungen empfangen. Ende.
At attack position, ingress to target. At attack position, ingress to target. Abgefeuert. Kommen. Ready to engage. About to attack. Abgefeuert. Ende. Roger, engage. Cleared hot. Roger. Clear top. Next position.
Aufschlag! Oben!
Aufschlag. Ende. Wirkungsschießen. Coming. At next position. Egress start. Roger. Clear top. Dash 2 is in the pod. Roger. Clear top. Ready to engage. Roger. Clear top. Whale clock bandits. Ended. Aggressing on target. Aggressing on target to engage. Roger. Clear top. Aggressing on target. Stand by for catch request. Stand by for catch request. Roger. Route to attack position. attack position, ingress to target. Ready to engage. Roger, cleared hot. At attack position, ingress to target. Ready to engage. Roger, cleared hot. At attack position, ingress to target. Ready to engage. Ready to engage. Roger, cleared hot. Roger, cleared hot. At attack position, ingress to target. Ready to engage. Roger, cleared hot. Ingressing on target. At attack position, ingress to target. Ready to engage. Stand by for cast press. Roger, cleared hot. Roger, en route to attack position. At attack position, ingress to target. Ready to engage. Roger, cleared hot.
Feueranforderungen kommen.
Aggressing on target.
Feueranforderungen kommen.
At attack position, ingress to target. Ready to engage.
Feueranforderungen
Roger,
empfangen.
cleared hot.
Ende.
Aggressing on target.
Feueranforderungen empfangen. Ende.
Abgefeuert, kommen.
Abgefeuert. Ende.
Roger, en route to attack position.
Abgefeuert. Kommen.
Abgefeuert, Ende.
Achtung, Aufschlag. Kommen. Achtung,
Aufschlag,
Aufschlag.
Ende.
Kommen. Aufschlag. Ende. Wirkungsschießen. Kommen. Wirkungsschießen. Kommen.
Verstanden, Wirkungsschießen, Ende. Verstanden, Wirkungsschießen, Ende. Auftrag beendet. Ende. Feuerauftrag beendet. Ende. Ready to engage. Roger, cleared hot. At attack position, ingress to target. Ready to engage. Roger, cleared hot. Roger, cleared hot. Aggressing target.